Good evening, everybody. My name is Anna Grealish, and I am the Women in Sport lead for Athletics Ireland. It's great to see you this evening. This is the second webinar in our Women's Health and Wellbeing Month, and tonight we're talking about sports bras. I'm delighted to be joined by Charlotte Gill, who is from PEB Sports Bras based in the UK. So Charlotte's going to talk and give a presentation around sports bras for you this evening. If you do have any questions, you can pop them in the chat, or you can email me across and I will ask Charlotte towards the end, or you can raise your hand at the end of the webinar as well, and you can ask her in person. So as I said, delighted to have Charlotte here this evening, and I'm going to hand over to you, Charlotte, to go through your presentation.
Great, thank you. This is where I do the seamless technology transfer. Are you still there?
Yep, you're perfect.
Okay, great. Hi everybody. So I'm Charlotte. I'm one of the co-founders of PB, and we do performance sports bras. And we work a lot with everyone from girls in school to elite athletes and a lot of women runners. So delighted to be here this evening for Athletics Ireland. Who are PB? Lucy and I were bored of making do with incredibly average sports bras. I had one of the sports bras and had felt incredibly restricted in my performance, and having had to wear a sports bra since the age of 11, had plenty of years of experience. I come from an operations background and Lucy comes from a product background, and we're just really passionate around using science to inform our design. So we looked a lot around what is called breast biomechanics, essentially the science of how your breasts move when you run and you're exercising. And we've incorporated that into a couple of our two designs, with one of our products rated at the start of this year as the market leader for bounce reduction by the University of Portsmouth's Breast Health Research Centre. So we're really thrilled that actually by thinking outside the box, looking at the science, and speaking to women with what they actually wanted, we've managed to create product that fits really well. We're also experts in breast health and breast injury and bra fit. We have fitted thousands of women just this year alone, and we are continuing to do so, keeping ourselves busy. So there isn't really anything that we don't know about sports bras or breast health within exercise. I think something we're very, very passionate about at PB is just talking to women and girls, and busting a few taboos on breast health and exercise. We found sort of growing up and as women ourselves that it just wasn't, a lot of the issues weren't talked about enough or just known enough. So we're incredibly passionate about educating the next generation of young women on this matter. So why are we here? Sports bras are just such a crucial part of your kit. As you are all runners, you will well know. This is Eddie Cardwell here. She's an England netball player, and she knows the importance around. She's a huge advocate for sports bras and breast health, but the importance of having a high performing one, especially if you are an elite athlete, or you are just an everyday woman. For me, going out on my 5K at the weekend, it's really important, and I'll come on to talk about the performance impacts, but also from a comfort perspective, and the confidence levels around participation in sport. Having a decent sports bra can really improve your confidence as well as your performance. We know how hard sports bras and bras in general are to shop for, and how awkward it can be to find your bra size. So we just talk about that later. And I think that we often say, just think beyond size. So I'll talk a little bit some statistics later, based on research, but like we often get from some athletes, oh, I've only got small boobs, I don't need to think about this. And actually, it's really important if you've got breast tissue to protect it. And it will 100% impact your performance. And I will come on to that in a little later. And just think around as well, rather than just when you're out training, running, using it for other activities and everyday life. So why do breasts need our help? They are fantastic. They're on the outside of our bodies, and if we can or we choose to have children at some point in life, they're fantastic because obviously they can breastfeed your child. However, when it comes to exercise, actually that's a real disadvantage for us because what you end up with is essentially, as a, it's not a biology lesson, but you can see a cross section of a breast here, and they are incredibly poorly structured. So breasts are essentially made up of fatty material and skin. There are no muscles inside. There's no ligaments. It is literally just the fatty tissue, the milk ducts for if you're going to breastfeed a child, and the skin. So you can see it's quite a simple structure that we've got on the screen. They're also, as those like women who are menstruating will know, they change a lot in size and shape during your monthly cycle. And they also, especially when you are pregnant as well, or have had a baby, they will grow and they'll change in both shape and volume and feel. They move a lot. They can hurt, which can hurt, right? And I'll come on to stat on that in a minute. And just more awkwardly or generally, if you are playing sport or just in everyday life and you get hit in the breast, it really, really hurts. So it's a bit inconvenient because they're outside of our skeleton, and our skeleton does a great job at protecting all the core vital organs for us, but unfortunately breasts are on the outside. So not the best when it comes to particularly running. So I'm just going to pause a little bit and speak to breast injury. I'm not sure if any of you know about breast injury. Most women don't even know it's a thing. There's two types of breast injury that you can get. One is an impact injury. So if you have been playing sport, or you've just got an elbow to the breast, or you've had an impact on the tissue, and it can cause a bruising or a bit of grizzle within your breast tissue. The other type of breast injury that you can get is from wearing a sports bra, where you might have chafing is a really common thing that we see in runners and their sports bras. So you might get something on the sort of underside of your breasts or on the top if your bra is not fitting particularly right. So you get abrasions to the skin, and it's incredibly uncomfortable, and you can end up with scarring, which no one really wants. Sports bras have a massive role to play. If you have a poor fit or style, or you're just not wearing it correctly, then they obviously, there's a risk that they can do damage to your breasts. So a bit of facts around breast movement. So these all come from the research of breast biomechanics, which is the science behind how your breasts move when you are in motion. 19, first of all, I'll start on this number. So 19 is the number of vertical centimeters a breast can travel if unsupported, which obviously, if you sort of make your fingers out, so 2/3 of a ruler, that's quite significant in terms of size. What I would say is that is on a large cup size, however, only takes 2 centimeters, which is the distance that your breasts have to travel in a vertical motion for anyone to perceive pain. And on the whole, most people's breasts will move 2 centimeters when they exercise. So if you're not supporting those breasts properly, then the vast majority, if not all of us, will experience pain when exercising. And if we go back to, just remember the slide before when we were looking at that anatomy where the breasts are really unsupported and they don't have muscles to help them support themselves when you are running or in motion, that becomes all the more difficult when we talk about the way that breasts move. So you'll see on the slide here, there's a figure of 8 shape, and that is the shape that our breasts move when we are running. So we've got a gait and a stride, and that weight transfer as we go will ultimately result in our breasts moving in a figure of 8 shape. There is about 50% movement up and down, side to side, and there is also some movement back and forward. So it's really, really important to ensure that you've got the right level of support, especially when you consider that the average bra size in the UK is a 34DD, and they weigh approximately 1.5 kilograms. So that on average is like a 750 ml bottle of Coke. So like, think about a Diet Coke bottle, or a small household cat can weigh 1.5 kilograms. Like it's a sizable amount. And if you've got 1.5 kg on an average size breast, and on the whole, we would find when we have done a lot of work with girls and women, we would say this is on the smaller size of average, from our data. But you've got that moving around in a figure of 8 shape with, a 34 double D will move about 10 centimeters or so without support. So you've got 10 centimeters worth of movement going around in a figure of 8 shape and no support. You see how critical sports bras are. I often try and liken sports bras to trainers. If you consider how much technology and thought goes into your trainers because you want the support for your feet when you're running, it's the same with sports bras. The force that can be felt from your breast moving is the same equivalent G force as a F1 driver going around a bend. So if you bear that in mind, it's incredibly important, just for your sake of your sanity and your health of your breast tissue, to wear a sports bra if you don't already. And actually wearing the right sports bra in the right way is really important, and I'll come on to that. But the why should you care piece. So there are a number of performance implications and female health implications as a result of wearing or not wearing a decent sports bra. So if I were to clone myself and I was in a good sports bra and my clone was wearing a poor sports bra, I would actually have a longer stride length. So she would have a shortened stride length of up to 4 centimeters, research finds. And over the distance of a marathon, for example, that's the equivalent of running an extra mile. And what I would say about this research is it's the one that is talked about the most. And people will say, well, again, I have small breasts. It's not really going to impact me with my stride length. Actually, this research was done on B and C cups. So the breast volume is small. So it doesn't take larger breasts to significantly, 4 centimeters is a significant stride decrease. If you're looking for competitive advantage, then absolutely, like, this is a no-brainer to wear a sports bra. As breast size does increase, the research found that actually that added about an extra 20 minutes. If you're looking at a 36 back within a F or a G cup, then you're looking at an extra 20 minutes on a marathon time versus someone in the same level of support in a smaller cup size. So cup size does matter, but also the support that you have in your sports bra really does. It also decreases acceleration. So as you're looking to accelerate out the starting blocks, you'll find that actually is slowed if you don't have the right level of support on. And posture is something that is also heavily impacted by the right sports bra. So when we wear a sports bra, it's really important to think about how the weight of your breast tissue, so go back to that slide and we're talking about 1.5 kgs, even if you've got an A cup, that's still about 250, 300 grams worth of weight. So it's really important to consider holding that weight of your breasts, because they don't have any muscles to keep them in place. It's only the skin themselves. To keep the weight off of your shoulders, so you're not ending up with a hunch position, and you actually have a sports bra that is a race back or a cross back design that's going to help anchor the weight in the middle of your back, lower down. You don't want anything that's anchoring the weight on your shoulders or your neck, because you will end up with posture issues, and neck pain and back pain can be associated from not having the right support from your sports bra. It also actually factually increases the energy used. So if I wasn't wearing, my clone wasn't wearing that decent sports bra that I have on, she would use more energy when she's exercising. But there's also something called perceived exertion, where actually she will just feel more exhausted than me. So we could have done exactly the same training, diet, race time, etc. But after the event, she'll feel more tired than I am, and I'll be able to recover quicker. We also talk about injury risk. So this is like an injury risk to your lower limbs, essentially. When you don't have a good sports bra, or you're not wearing one that say it's too stretchy, it's not fitting properly, or it's not offering the right level of support, you're going to have what's called increased ground force reaction. So how heavy you hit the track when you are running will be impacted by your sports bra, because your posture and your position will all be off. And so you are at risk of causing injury to your lower limbs. There is actually, I think, ACL is a bit of a hot buzz injury at the moment, particularly in like women's footballers. And actually, it's been found that if you don't have a decent sports bra, it increases your risk of this injury. So breast tissue does move when we move. It will always move, and particularly it will like to sit in your armpits when you are moving if you don't have the right support on to push it out in front on your chest. This is like key in terms of helping with that posture. But just remember that I've talked about performance and posture, and the last thing I want to talk about is your pelvic floor health. So as females, why is this important? You might say, like, how is my sports bra connected to my pelvic floor? Well, obviously your breasts are attached to your chest wall, and your abdominals are all connected as part of that. And then obviously the pelvic floor sits at the bottom. And if you are not able to breathe properly from your sports bra, and like breath work is really important, and also the weight distribution not being right, and so you are overcompensating, your pelvic floor will be impacted. So I've talked about all of the impacts of not wearing a decent sports bra. Lucy and I talk about sports bras being the secret superhero. What a sentence to say in the evening. And it's really important, like we just cannot overstate enough the importance of wearing a sports bra, and not just any sports bra, one that is delivered and designed for high impact and actually does work once you put it on. Here, this slide, we talked to a number of stats. So 80% of women are in the wrong size, 50% in the wrong type of sports bras, and 50% experience breast pain. These are research, statistics from research, really well-respected research. However, from our estimates of when we have been out on the road fitting women, like this year alone, we've fitted about 3,000 women, and we would say about 98% of women are in the wrong bra size. And I don't just mean out by one cup or a back size, it means significantly in the wrong size. And I'll come on to a reason in a minute as to why that might be. But also it's important to think about what type of activity you're wearing a sports bra for. So if we look at running out on the track versus doing a strength and conditioning session in the gym, your movement is incredibly different. So you might get away in the gym with a stretchier, more supportive, more supple sports bra. When you're out on that track, you need something that's going to minimize the bounce and is going to enable the maximum range of movement for you. So it's just thinking about, does your sports bra offer that for you when you are running? And when we talk about breast pain and running, we find that far more than 50% of women and girls experience it. When we tackle, there's no sports bra police, by the way. So when Lucy and I set up PB, we thought, yeah, 100%, they'll be regulated to be able to call our sports bras high impact. We'd have to pass a threshold of bounce reduction because other brands do that. This actually isn't true. And for a brand to be able to call their sports bra high impact or medium impact or low impact, that's just a marketing exercise from within their internal brand. So it might be that they consider one sports bra more high impact than their lower impact sports bra, so therefore that's what they call it. But I would always just say, when you get a sports bra, make sure you do like adjust it properly when you're trying it on, and you're doing a jump test to see how you feel about the movement and whether you can feel any movement. Because really, if you have a very good sports bra, you shouldn't feel any movement, or you should feel very, very little movement and feel very comfortable to step off. If you're feeling out of sorts or out of balance, sorry, I should say, then you need to really be thinking about, is this sports bra good enough for me out on the track? So why are so many women confused about bras? And sports bras in particular, there's just so much choice out there. We talk, if you look on ASOS, they've got about 200 different bras on there at the moment, sports or otherwise. So it's really difficult to know what you are looking for. And sizing causes an absolute minefield. So a lot of us will have gone to Marks and Spencer's with our parent when we were younger and got measured. John Lewis or Victoria's Secret all measure in the same way. So they're is a very simple way as to how do you get someone's bra size, and I will talk very quickly through how that is. It's very simple. You should be able to do it at home with a soft tape measure, and you take one measurement around your waist, and you take one measurement around the widest part of your breast, so often in line with the nipple. And your underband measurement is what is around your waist. If you measure a 30 on your waist, you are a 30 back size. And as you'll know, bra sizes and back sizes, they go up by 2 inches, so 30, 32, 34, etc. If you're an odd number, so 31, you would just shift yourself up to that 32. And then to get my cup size, all I do is I take that measurement, so that's a 30. Let's say I measured 35 around the widest part of my my chest. And that's loose, that's not on a firm, that's a very firm measurement on my waist, and it's a looser measurement on my breast. I've got a difference of 5. So all I do is I count up the cup sizes. If you have no difference, you're a double A cup, but one is A, B, C, D, double D. So I would be a 30 double D. And that's simple, my bra size. And I could go into a number of shops. Now, sometimes brands, they run small or large, but I would be shopping around that area. Historically, and the brands that I mentioned, you might find that what they would have done is they would have added 4 inches to your underband. So rather than being a 30 back size, they would have made me a 34 back size. And then they would have said, okay, you're a 34 on the underband and you'll measure 35 on your overband. So I would be a 34A. That's really, really different when you come to fitting and feeling a sports bra, and knowing how a sports bra and a bra, everyday bra, should fit is really important. But I would sit the cups, I would sort of fill the cups, but they would sit very wide on my body and they wouldn't sit flat against my chest wall. So I wouldn't be getting the right support that I needed. And I would have a high risk of chafing if I was wearing a sports bra that was a 34A versus a 30 double D. The 30 double D is going to fit me far better. It's going to bring my breast tissue onto the front, and it's going to fully encapsulate those breasts. It will also mean that where I'm getting the support on the underarm, it will sit firmly and closely to my skin, so I don't get any chafing on the underarm, sorry. Whereas if I'm wearing that 34A that they've put me in, I'm going to find it sort of supportive, but it was sitting really, really loose on my underband. I'll be able to pull it out quite significantly, and those cups will be sitting really wide and really far back. So I'm far more likely to come across the chafe injury that I talked about earlier in the 2 types of breast injury. This is synonymous with what we see with being in the wrong size. You can never get the sports bra, no matter how much you adjust it to fit correctly. I've talked a little bit about labeling chaos, so that low, medium, high impact, it all varies per brand. And I think it's very important to just think, is this appropriate for running, and is this going to help me? So we often talk about either a compression or encapsulation bra, depending on your breast size, and always look particularly for a racer back style, or a straps where you have them crossed over. So one of our designs I'll come on and talk to has a crossover style, but also we have one style that has a racer back design. That's really important to allow A, the weight being positioned onto your back in the right place, and B, to think about having the free range of movement for your arms. So how have we designed our bras at PB? I've ranted on about how you should have a decent sports bra and what the industry hasn't done about it to date. So as I said at the beginning, we have led our designs by science and not by brand. So we've tried to make them aesthetically beautiful when you wear them, but we've really thought about what you need as women for when you are out there exercising. And all of the designs, we have the cloud and we have the impact, the different size range. So our styles are driven by size and the need of what a weight of breast will need in terms of support. But we also looked at adaptability. So you'll see on both the bras that they've got the adjustment on the front for the straps. So that's so that you're in control of how tight and that bra is feeling. So we call it going into turbo mode. You can be on a tighter setting for when you're out exercising. But often we find that we're busy in life and we might move from training to coffee or work or whatever it is and not have time to change out of our sports bras. And so it's really important to be able to loosen it off by 1 or 2, so you're able to Relax and be comfortable in your bra as an everyday bra and not just a performance bra. And in from our perspective, we couldn't make a sports bra brand without having high performance indicators within our products. So they both are high performing products. They reduce bounce, but the impact in particular, it reduces bounce by 81%. So I leave these myth busters here. These are the things that we've actually heard customers say to us, either when we've been at an event in person or someone has messaged us about getting a decent sports bra. None of these should be a thing because you should be able to find a decent sports bra that fits you properly and offers you the right level of support. We obviously pride ourselves in something like that, and we've taken women who have worn two sports bras into one sports bra to improve their times, their 5K splits. One story stands out of a PT who had been in the Royal Navy for 10 years, and she thought that she just lived with back pain and she was a bad runner. And it just turns out it was her sports bra and not knowing her size correctly. And the moment that she was in our sports bra in the right size, she was knocking times off of her, like she was getting her PB by like quite significant milestones, and her back pain was gone. So something like that for us is like a massive impact. But you shouldn't live in pain, and yeah, none of those should be a thing. So when it comes to shopping, obviously tonight we're just here to make sure that everyone is educated on sports bras and the impact they can have on your performance. It's not a pitch on our bras, although you can obviously they are available to buy. But if you were going out looking for a sports bra, the first thing you should say to yourself is, do I need a new sports bra? Have you had your sports bra in your wardrobe for more than a year? So if that sports bra has been in your drawer for over a year, then I would suggest replacing it. It's a little bit like trainers. And people say, oh, when should I replace my sports bra? Think about how often do you wear your trainers and how often do you replace them? So if you were training for a marathon over the period of a year and you're running significant distances in it, you'd probably change your trainers afterwards. It's the same for your sports bra. They are delivering a impact on your body, and they're taking and cushioning, and so they're bound to stretch over time, and the support will soften on the bra. So to make sure you're getting the optimal support, we really recommend that a sports bra never sees a birthday. But in terms of what to look for adjustability. So make sure that the underband, you can adjust it, make sure the straps, you can adjust them. It's really, really important. We don't want over the head styles. Lots of people wear the Nike swoosh bra and it has no adjustment in it, and it's a nightmare to get out of at the end of a sweaty gym session. When you try it on, just consider and allow for fluctuation during your monthly cycle if that is a thing for you. And just think about when you are at your fullest, and probably shop them, so then you obviously know that you're supported to your bigger size. And just think about what you're wearing the sports bra for, and the idea that you might need more than one sports bra in your drawer is really important, because if you were to say have a pair of Converse and a pair of Asics or Hokas in your drawer, you wouldn't run out in your Converse, you'd run out in the other trainers. So but they all do a sort of purpose for your feet. Just be careful, like we've said, about labeling and names and the price point and language. Lots of products, it's all about the brand, and they want to create a performance luxurious brand, and so therefore you think higher price point, it says high impact, it must do the job. Really, really test it out. So make sure you're in that fitting room, you've tried the bra on, it's fitting you properly. And when I say fitting you properly, the 2-point test you can do is to check the underband. If you can pull it out more than an inch, it's too loose for you. And the straps, you need to make sure the straps are done up tight enough. Again, you shouldn't be able to pull them from more than an inch away. And that's when you know that you are fitted right into a sports bra. When you look at your breast tissue, you don't want anything spilling out the top or the sides. And likewise, you don't want a sort of shallow cup and space in there. So a sort of 3-point check, I should have said, as to how you know if a sports bra fits. If you're jumping around in a changing room and it's still not doing a good enough job, then it's not the right sports bra for you to go out running in. We also just say, like, look out for bonding and stitching. Bonding is fantastic. It removes any chafing, but stitching, particularly in sensitive areas of where you've got breast tissue on the inside of a cup, then that can be a chafe risk. And that's it. I'm going to wrap up there, and hand back over control. But thank you for listening to me, and I hope you found it useful.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. If you want to stop sharing your screen there. So we had a few people join during the call. So just to kind of, I suppose, introduce again. So this is part of a Women's Health and Wellbeing Month. And Charlotte was kind enough to come on and talk around sports bras. So thank you ever so much. I have a few questions that came in on email, actually. One is from a coach, actually, and they just wanted to know, what is a good way to start a conversation with a teenage girl or an athlete that they're working with around maybe thinking about, are you wearing the correct sports bra? What's a good way of starting that conversation if you're maybe a little bit unsure of how to broach that subject with an athlete that you're working with?
Yeah, of course. So I think actually that you organising this webinar is a great way to talk about it. So you can talk about the webinar, the fact that you've watched it, and you learned about the performance implications of a decent sports bra. We work a lot with girls in the school, and we find the best way to connect with them about wearing the right sports bra is to talk about it from a performance impact. So if you say, oh, I learned all of this, do you wear one? And do you find, you can taking some of the lessons of like the sort of sound bites of what I've said this evening and using those into, did you know that your stride could be decreased by 4 centimeters? Like, let's talk about it. I want to make sure that all my athletes are wearing a really decent sports bra, and go from there and see what their response is. But most of the time we find that people are really positive to engage with it. And we've also, with it, speaking about teenagers in particular, the more sort of casual you can be about it, but from a performance-led aspect, the more reciprocal they'll be when you talk about it.
Perfect. I think that is quite a good kind of way of kind of broaching that subject, because I know some coaches might feel uncomfortable or not kind of happy to kind of talk about it, but as you say, linking it to performance, or like being able to kind of perform the best that you can do is actually a really nice way of opening that conversation. I had another question there come in around, so you obviously talked about different breast sizes and stuff. A lot of maybe teenage girls who are just starting puberty and just coming into maybe looking at a sports bra as a way of kind of keeping engaged with sport. What kind of advice can you give to those, I suppose, those girls or parents of girls who are just maybe kind of coming into puberty and looking for their first sports bra? What kind of advice can you give to them?
Yeah, of course. So I think with first sports bras, the first thing, and actually with the conversation from the coach perspective is you don't clam up on it. Like, just talk about it. Like, be really straightforward and say, if it's a mother like saying, say I wear a sports bra, like we should get you one because it's really important as you like go through this point in your life. Like, I want you to be supported into like your sport and exercise at school or out at club or wherever it might be. If you're a dad or an uncle or a relative talking about it in that position, if you're a carer, then again you can just say like, let's talk about it. Like, the straighter you are with the conversation, and we use the proper words like sports bra, and for when you are exercising, you don't even have to refer to like the fact that her breasts are going to be growing throughout puberty, etc. I think you can just talk about it from a perspective of, oh, the benefits of wearing a sports bra. Look for that's depending on size. I think that's a really important thing. So we, in particular, if you're looking at littlies that are maybe sort of that kind of 10 to 12, kind of 13 maybe even, and they're just going through puberty and they've got much smaller breasts, they don't have much, look for something that is a racer back that can go on over there, and you can adjust the straps on the underband, but it's a very simple design, like our cloud bra, for example, is a great starter point. If your daughter or the girl that you know has like sort of hit puberty and gone through puberty, we have a lot of girls that have been told by other brands that they're 34, you know, uh, B, and they're tiny, but they do have like quite significant breast volume, and so you're probably more looking at a size that's going to be a 28 or a 30 double D to F. That's really, really normal. And we see that's our most popular size set within secondary school, particularly for those girls that have gone through it. So it's really important to get those girls. into a cup size bra so that they have the right level of support, because that's going to be equivalent to the 34DD. It's a similar weight set that they're going to be carrying around. And that is like the critical part where you're going to see that girl's either going to be supported by a good sports bra and feel comfortable in sport, or she's going to get self-conscious, she's going to get back problems, and she's just going to walk away from it or step back in terms of, how much she enjoys it.
Yeah. And I think just on that point, it's really important, because we have a lot of schools programs, a lot of athletics clubs who have juveniles, and actually it can be a big turn off that when you do start puberty and your breasts grow, that actually you just don't want to do it at the moment because you haven't got the correctly supported fitted sports bra. So I think that's a really important point there.
I think with the much younger girls as well, and it just comes that kind of like a bit of modesty as well when they're just wearing their shirts and they're not wearing anything else underneath it, and they start to grow slightly. It's just that modesty perspective, and most of them just want to feel comfortable. So I think you'll find that you're knocking on an open door, but you just have to be confident in your language of like knowing that sports bras are a really good thing for when you play sport and exercise. And as you're a teenager, we should go and get you one.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And then just finally, I don't have any more questions coming in, but just in terms of either contacting you if they have any questions, or sending to your website, what's your website address?
Of course. So our website address is PB Active. That's PEBE active.com. And you can find us on Instagram with the same handle at PB Active. If you want to get in touch with us about ordering anything, you can do it directly through our website, or email us at orders@pbactive.com, or drop us a DM on Instagram and we'll reply to you.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for your time, Charlotte. It was a really interesting piece, and hopefully people who came on the call tonight, or people who are going to be watching this recording, will take some information away and hopefully back to their clubs and athletes and even themselves as well. So thank you ever so much for your time, and thank you very much, everybody. And we'll see you next week for the last one, which is on pelvic floor health. Thank you.
Welcome. Bye, Anna.